So moving on, we have Go Review. Now, Go Review is the segment where one of us asks the other to review a product or a service, really anything that's somewhat tech related. We've had, what have we had in the past? We've had TikTok reviewed. We've had the DJI Mavic Air 2 I reviewed. Stetson reviewed the S20 smartphone. It's been all over the place, but on the last episode, I did review the best cloud storage out there, so you can go back and listen to that if you're interested. And then I asked Stetson, hey, you're lighting yourself on this call that we're doing over Zoom currently with the Aputure MC. What's the name of it?
It is the Aputure MC RGBWW LED light. Gabe, Thank you for that introduction.
I said, yeah, Stetson, that's the light that you're using. Can you give us a review of that? It's been super popular. It's $99, $120?
Yeah, it starts at actually $90. The problem is that it's sold out in most places. So sometimes I bought mine for $120. Thankfully on Facebook Marketplace, I was able to find someone who had it. So
yeah, I said, Stetson, review this light. And now after the long wait, we're here for the review. So Stetson, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so welcome to the Go Review. Gabe, you can't see this, and I'm just going to describe it in an audio format for the listeners out there. This is going to be available on the Pinch to Zoom YouTube channel if you're interested in seeing a visual of what I'm talking about. But this is it. This is the Aputure MC RGBWW LED light, and you can see it comes in this box. Included is the light itself. You also get a nice little carrying pouch that comes with some adhesive strips and a little light dome to cover and diffuse the light. And I think we should really talk about the light itself because this is really the star of the show. It has on one side, you have an on-off switch. What I love about this is it's instant. It's instant on, instant off. You're not pressing and holding a button. You're not waiting for a startup screen. None of that jazz. You also have a USB Type-C input for charging and power. What's really nice is you can actually power this over USB Type-C for infinite record limits. And then you also have a clicky wheel, similar to what you would find on a camera for selecting your aperture or shutter speed, but you can click to select it. And at the top, you have a display where you can change the hue and the saturation and the intensity. So that's a brief overview of the light. It has very strong magnets on the back. It's about the size, here's a phone for a comparison. It's about the size, it's a little bit bigger than maybe an iPhone SE, something like that. And yeah, I think in terms of use, this is really phenomenal. It puts out, from my testing, about 800 lumens of light, and it's rated for 96 CRI, I believe, in terms of color accuracy for skin tones. And I think, yeah, it's just a compact, great little device for lighting and for adding a little bit of splash of color to your scene. So
I know a lot of people use it on set, even if you already have super expensive lights that you don't really need other stuff. They use it as a practical sometimes. So yeah, adding a splash of color or even putting in, a lampshade to put a light there.
Yeah, so it can slide into the back, and the magnets make it great. So you can, it's really strong.
I think they actually even use stuff like this on, like carpool karaoke for the people in the back seat. They tape them to the headrest of the seats in front of them.
Get some extra lighting back there.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, only at $90. This is super versatile. I really like it. It doesn't flicker in video. That's something I had a problem with my Philips Hue lights, is they would flicker in video. This one, no flicker problems.
And interestingly, how it does that, I think, is it uses a random refresh rate, I'm pretty sure, right?
That sounds really cool.
So rather than consistently 120 times per second doing it, it's doing it randomly throughout that, certain number of milliseconds between refreshes. One question I had, you might be getting to it, is what's the battery life on this thing?
Yeah, so for my testing, I think the battery life is somewhere around 2 hours. And I found basically it works perfectly fine for A-roll. Like if I'm doing an A-roll, 45 minutes, max brightness, totally fine for something like that. I would probably go for, again, I think up to 2 hours. And if you're doing something more intensive, like for my B-roll, I know that takes me a little bit longer. For that, I do want to have it plugged in. It does get hot and warm to the touch. It's never shut off on me. It does have wireless charging.
That's really impressive. Yeah. I will say, as someone who has the Lume Cubes and I also have a Luxley light, both of those are constantly overheating on me, and I'll be in the middle of the shoot and they'll just shut off. So
this doesn't have this problem. It's never shut off on me, and it does also have some effects. My take on the effects is you'll see a YouTuber like demo them. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's like kind of cool.
I'll use those maybe.
You'll never use those. I've actually used the fire effect once. I had some friends over for a socially distanced bonfire, and it was too hot to light a fire, and so I just popped that in there with a external battery bank, and we were good to go. So it was kind of cool. The other big thing is the application. So I love the application because you can connect to your light wirelessly and manage it like you would sort of a Philips Hue setup. And this works great for if you're in your studio, you can control the color wirelessly with your phone. You get a color wheel, you can choose the exact value. What works great for me is you can save presets. So I do a lot of carrier reviews, and let's say I'm reviewing T-Mobile. I can go into my presets tab, and I can find my T-Mobile preset, tap OK, and boom, I'm getting consistent lighting for all of my T-Mobile videos that I do now and in the future.
You know what'd be really great? If they had like some light bulbs out that you could also maybe like, Philips Hue has theirs. And if they had light bulbs for Aputure that also kind of plugged into this app, right?
Well, Gabe, I mean, you should just explain yourself because they have those.
What?
But they rebranded.
They're
yeah,
available? You can buy them?
Okay, well, I'm curious to see if your A7S3 or my lights come out first.
Okay, all right. Now we're going back.
But yeah, so they have the Aputure. They were called the RC LED lights. They were rebranded. Gabe, you have a great article on your website about that. I can't remember the rebrand's name.
I think it's the BS7, I'm pretty sure.
That sounds something weird like that.
B7C.
BC7, I think, yeah.
B7C, I think is what it is actually. But all the Aputure lights coming out now, I think, should work with this Sidus Link app, right?
They do.
You could have a full setup of like 20 lights, and they all mesh network together over Bluetooth, and then you can control them all.
It's really incredible, and this works with their bigger lights too. So you can have your your key light and then
300D.
Exactly. So this app is what sold me on the Aputure MC LED light. It makes my life so much easier, not having to get in an awkward position to look at the...
How easy is it to pair?
Oh, it's so easy. It's like pairing Bluetooth headphones, and you do it once, and then the app will auto-connect every time consistently.
That's nice.
It's super nice.
Now they sell a kit of these, right?
They do. You can get a kit of 4 of them, and what's interesting is the kit will take advantage of the wireless charging on the back, and it will charge the lights when you set them down in the carrying case. That's like $400.
$500 for 4 lights.
Yeah, so it's expensive.
So $90 a light, and then a kit for, I guess the case for like $150 or so.
I think that's going to be it for me. I mean, the highlights is the instant on, instant off, the application. The wheel on the side, I actually find annoying because it's easy to accidentally brush your hand against it and all of a sudden you change color temperature or something like that. But overall, for what you're getting for $90, easy recommendation. I highly recommend adding this to your studio kit.
Have you used it for photography too, even?
I have used it for capturing some photos, just adding a splash of color in there.
Yep. And
it's really good for accenting that. I actually want to get another one so you can get kind of 2 tones going on. Maybe, I don't know, a blue and orange or something like that.
True. The interesting thing I would think would be maybe comparing or looking for people who have comparisons between these and the really popular like RGB tube lights.
Well, I think again what sold me was the
Nanlite has those out that are like the 6Cs that are only $100 as well. And like which is a better one, because the tubes are a little bigger, right? But they provide a more diffused light potentially. Whereas
true.
Something like that's a little more accented and sharp, but it's smaller as well.
Well, you do get a diffuser dome included. I've noticed this really helps, but it makes the light overall dimmer, as you would expect. But ultimately for me, the application is what made this perfect for my setup. And I can't emphasize enough how satisfying it is just having instant on, instant off. Whereas I know with some of the lights, you do have to like press and hold, wait for it to start up.
Yeah, that's really an interesting thing. And you're right, because I know with the Luxley one, I press it and it takes about 1 second before it actually comes fully on.
Yeah, this is just instant. And the USB Type-C, everything about this is just well thought out, well designed. The biggest problem, it's sold out. So it may be hard to get.
Getting one. Yeah, we just talked about a product that's so great, and now you can't get it.
I know. I had to go on Facebook Marketplace to get mine, but definitely, add it to your wish list on B&H or elsewhere so you get that in-stock notification. But I think that's it. That's the Aputure MC RGB LED light. Gabe, do you have any questions? I mean, I feel like I tried to cover as much as possible about this light.
No, I think you did a very good, thorough go review. I like it. You know, we'd been having these really huge comparisons the past couple ones between like which service is better for cloud storage. Or I think you had, what did I give you?
Browsers.
I did streaming products. Yeah, so this is a nice focused one, and you above and beyond for what I expect.